Hey friend, today we're diving into something nobody really prepares you for. The real emotional roller coaster of downsizing after decades in the same home. And let me tell you, it's not just the boxes that get heavy. It's the memories, the surprises, the "oh wow, why do I still own this?" moments, and a kind of emotional exhaustion you don't fully understand until you're halfway through packing a drawer you haven't opened since 1994. If you're thinking of downsizing, planning to do it soon, or even just pretending you're organized enough to consider it one day, this video is going to save you a whole lot of frustration. Because today, I'm sharing the things so many seniors say they desperately wish they had known earlier. These are the little truths that no real estate brochure, no moving checklist, and definitely no friendly neighbor ever warns you about. So grab a cup of tea, or something stronger, I'm not judging, and let's walk through what really happens when you try to let go of the home you've loved for decades. Number 1. I wish I knew how early I should have started decluttering. Months, not weeks. My friend, let me give you the most underrated life-saving tip about selling the family home. Start decluttering way earlier than you think. And I don't mean a few weekends before the move. I mean months before you even think of calling a real estate agent. Honestly, if you could have started back in 2014, that would have been perfect. Most of us completely underestimate how much we've accumulated. You open one drawer, find an old cassette tape, a birthday card from someone you barely remember, 3 pairs of scissors, a spoon that doesn't belong to any set you own, and suddenly you're sitting on the floor, wondering where your life went. The real problem isn't the stuff. It's the stories attached to the stuff. An old coat becomes the coat I wore when the kids were small. A broken mug becomes the mug your father used every morning. A random screwdriver becomes, I might need this one day. Spoiler, you won't. I once heard a woman say she started decluttering at 10 a.m. and didn't finish until 5 p.m., and in that time, she had only cleared out one shoebox. One. She said, the problem wasn't the items. It was all the trips I took down memory lane. When you rush this process, you end up exhausted, emotional, and making bad decisions. You keep things you don't need because you're overwhelmed. Or worse, you throw out things you would have liked to keep because you're in panic mode. If I could go back, I'd give myself at least 6 months. I'd do a little at a time. I'd make myself a cup of tea, put on some music, and tackle one drawer, one shelf, one tiny corner each day. Slow and steady decluttering lets you actually think. It gives you space to laugh, cry, and remember without feeling like you're part of a reality TV show called Seniors Under Deadline. Trust me, start early. Your future self will want to hug you. 2. I wish I knew how expensive pre-sale repairs and touch-ups would be. Now let's talk money, because selling a house isn't just stick a sign in the yard and hope someone likes it. Oh no, selling a house is like sending your home to prom. You've got to dress it up, make it look presentable, fix the pimples, straighten the hair, and hope nobody asks too many questions. I truly wish someone had told me that the little fixes aren't little. The moment you tell your agent you want to sell, suddenly every crack, every loose hinge, every smudge on the wall starts screaming for attention. Oh, it's just a small repair, they say. Yes, well, 10 small repairs equal 1 expensive headache. One senior couple told me they spent nearly $2,000 on minor updates. And they said, not one of those things ever bothered us the entire time we lived here. But apparently, buyers are easily offended. And that's the thing. Buyers today expect homes to look like the ones on TV. They don't want character. They want modern. They don't want it works fine. They want updated and polished. Before you know it, you're repainting rooms, replacing ancient light fixtures, hiring a handyman, deep cleaning carpets, and paying someone to trim the hedges you swore you would get to eventually. And let's not forget staging. A woman online shared that she paid someone to rearrange her furniture and put a fake plant in the corner. A fake plant. She laughed and said, That plastic plant cost more than my real ones. If I had known better, I would have made a separate budget just for the pre-sale glow-up, because selling a home isn't cheap. You don't want to be shocked by the bill after you've already emotionally and mentally committed to moving. You don't have to go overboard, just prepare your wallet ahead of time. It stings much less when you see it coming. 3. I wish I had taken photos of every sentimental thing instead of keeping the item. Let me tell you something that took me way too long to learn. You don't need to keep every object to keep the memory. Honestly, I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders earlier and said, "Take a picture and let it go." We seniors tend to hold on to things not because we need them, but because they make our hearts warm. But here's the truth. The item itself doesn't hold the memory. You do. I once read about a man who kept his late wife's sweater for 10 years. He never wore it. He never touched it. The sweater lived in a box in the back of a closet, taking up space and collecting dust. One day, his daughter convinced him to take a photo of it and donate it. He said, "I finally realized I didn't need the sweater. I just needed the story." That hit me. Another woman said she photographed every single one of her mother's old perfume bottles before letting them go. She joked that she kept one bottle to smell occasionally, just to remind myself of her scolding me. But the rest? Gone. She said the photos actually felt more meaningful because she could look at them without the guilt of storing clutter. Taking photos helps you honor the memory without drowning in objects. It's also incredibly practical when you're moving to a smaller home where storage space becomes prime real estate. And here's the fun part. You can make a memory album or digital folder titled something like Treasures of the Past or Things That Built This Life. It becomes a beautiful, light, clutter-free archive of your journey. When you keep everything, every closet becomes a museum. But when you keep the memory, your heart stays full and your space free. So take the pictures. Let the items live on in your camera roll instead of your storage room. Future you will appreciate the space and the peace. 4. I wish I knew my kids don't actually want most of my stuff. All right, my friend, let me say something with love. Your kids do not want your stuff. I know. It hurts a little, but it's true. We grew up in a generation where owning things meant something. Furniture wasn't just furniture. It was solid wood, built to survive 3 kids, 2 dogs, and the occasional family argument. But your kids? They live in a world where IKEA is considered a personality trait. Many seniors learn this the hard way. One woman told me she tried giving her daughter a beautiful crystal set she got as a wedding gift in 1974. You know what her daughter said? "Mom, what would I even do with this?" Another man offered his son a vintage dining table with a leaf extension. His son said, "Dad, I don't even have a dining room. I eat on the couch." Here's the funny part. The kids love the idea of your things, but not the actual things. They'll say things like, "Ah, that was always in the living room." But ask them, "Do you want it?" And suddenly you hear the sound of feet running in the opposite direction. And it's not because they don't care. They just live differently. They prefer smaller spaces, minimalism, and things that can be assembled in 20 minutes with one Allen key. Your antique hutch is their worst nightmare. When you realize this early, the downsizing process becomes easier because you stop waiting for the magical moment when your kids suddenly claim all your items like contestants on a game show. Instead, you can give them a polite deadline. If you want anything, come get it by Saturday. After that, it's going to a new home. You avoid tension, guilt, and the emotional bargaining that happens when you keep asking, "Are you sure you don't want Grandma's sewing table?" Trust me, knowing this earlier would have saved me a lot of begging, negotiating, and let me think about it conversations. 5. I wish I had interviewed at least 2 real estate agents, not just picked the first one. Let me tell you the truth about real estate agents. Picking the first one you meet is like marrying the first person who says hello. It might work out, but do you really want to take that chance? Most seniors choose agents based on convenience. Maybe the agent was recommended by a neighbor. Maybe they sent a glossy flyer. Maybe they have a nice smile and said, "I sell houses all the time." But the real skill of an agent goes far beyond smiling and knowing how to open a door during a showing. The right agent can get you tens of thousands more. The wrong one? Well, one senior online said, "He priced my home like he was trying to sell a loaf of bread." Another man, Peter, learned this the fun way. The first agent told him, "I think we should list low, get quick interest, and hope for the best." Something didn't sit right with him, so he interviewed a second agent. This one showed up with market data, a marketing plan, a list of recent sales, and even told him which repairs were necessary and which were a waste of money. She listed the home for more and sold it for 10% above the first agent's estimate. Peter said he felt like he wanted to go back and tip her like she was a waitress. What shocked me is how different the strategies are. Some agents want the sale fast because they're juggling 20 clients and your home is just another task. Others treat your home like their biggest project of the year. If I had known better, I would have interviewed at least 2 agents. I would have asked how they plan to market the house, who takes the photos, whether they're familiar with my neighborhood, and how long their listings usually sit on the market. You learn so much in those conversations. Choosing an agent is like choosing a travel guide. You want someone who knows the terrain, not someone who says, "We'll see what happens." 6. I wish I had measured my new space before deciding what furniture to keep. This one should be printed on a billboard. I wish I had measured the new home before deciding what furniture to keep, because let me tell you, nothing humbles you faster than watching 3 movers struggle to push your giant old sofa through a tiny apartment doorway like they're trying to solve a geometry puzzle. Most seniors think, "It'll fit. It fit in the old house, didn't it?" But the new place almost always has smaller rooms, narrower halls, lower ceilings, and absolutely zero patience for oversized furniture. One woman said she brought her enormous oak dining table, the one she used every Christmas, into her new condo, except it didn't really come in. The movers got it halfway through the door before announcing, "Ma'am, this table isn't going to make it." She said she stood there thinking, "I should have measured, even just once." Another couple tried to keep their king-size bed, but when they arrived at the new house, they realized the bedroom door, the hallway, and the angle of the turn all teamed up against them. The bed stayed in the garage for 4 days until they finally sold it to a neighbor. When you measure ahead, you save money, energy, and embarrassment. You get to make calm decisions. This piece stays, this piece goes, and this piece needs to find a home that isn't mine. And honestly, downsizing is easier when your new home feels open, comfortable, and not like a furniture storage unit. Once you know what fits, you get to keep only what's functional and meaningful. If I could go back, I'd measure everything. The walls, the doors, the corners, even the staircase. I'd make a little floor plan and place imaginary furniture like I'm playing a happy little game of adult Tetris. Because trust me, my friend, guessing never works, measuring does. 7. I wish I knew how much emotional exhaustion packing would create. My friend, nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for the emotional hangover that comes from packing up a life you've spent decades building. Everyone warns you about the dust, the heavy boxes, the sore back, but nobody tells you about the moment you sit on the floor holding an old birthday card from 1987, and suddenly you're crying like you just finished watching a sad movie. It's wild. You think you're just boxing up plates and bedsheets, and then boom! Every drawer becomes a trip down memory lane. And the memories don't come softly. They hit like a surprise tax you never budgeted for. At some point, you'll be talking to yourself, why am I emotionally attached to a towel? Why does this random mug feel like part of my soul? Who knew bubble wrap could be this triggering? Packing isn't physically hard, it's emotionally messy. Give yourself space. Take breaks. Laugh at yourself. Cry if you have to. You're not weak, you're human, and you're untangling decades of your identity. And by the way, emotional exhaustion doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it right. 8. I wish I knew the first offer is often the best offer. Nobody tells you this. You think the house is going to spark a bidding war like it's some reality show. You're picturing buyers fighting over your living room like it's the last good avocado at the grocery store. But in reality, many people discover the first offer is usually the cleanest, simplest, and least stressful one. You'll be tempted to wait. You'll say, "Let me just see if someone offers a little more." But days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into, "Where did all the buyers go?" The emotional part is the worst. You start second-guessing everything. Did I price too high? Too low? Did the house smell weird on showing day? Should I have baked cookies? This is the mental gymnastics that no one warns you about. If the first offer is decent, fair, and comes from someone serious, don't ignore it. Sometimes the universe sends you the smoothest path first, and we humans love to complicate it. Don't be that human. 9. I wish I had packed essentials separately. It would have saved my sanity for weeks. Listen, pack yourself an essentials box. No, seriously. Your future self will thank you, hug you, and probably cry tears of relief. Imagine, moving day is over. You're tired. You open your boxes and suddenly realize you have 14 boxes labeled miscellaneous, 3 full of winter coats you never wear, and 0 idea where your toothbrush, pajamas, medication, or phone charger are. That's the kind of chaos that can break a good person. Everyone thinks they're organized, until they aren't. Suddenly, you're brushing your teeth with your finger like you're camping. You're sleeping in mismatched clothes because you can't find your pajamas. You're eating whatever snack shows up first because your kitchen tools are hiding in Narnia. If I could redo it, I'd pack one magical box with everything I need for the first week. Toiletries, meds, chargers, a couple changes of clothes, important documents, basic kitchen stuff, and maybe even a snack or two to keep myself from spiraling. Trust me, sanity is fragile during a move. Guard it. 10. I wish I knew my new home wouldn't feel like home unless I made it feel like home. This one hits deep because we all secretly think that the moment we walk into the new place, we'll feel that warm, fuzzy home feeling instantly, like the walls will hug us and say, "Welcome." But sometimes, it feels like you just moved into a nicely lit stranger's house. There's this awkward middle stage where your new place feels unfamiliar, hollow, maybe even a little cold. And you start panicking. Did I make a mistake? Why doesn't this place feel right? Will this ever feel like mine? Here's the truth. A home doesn't welcome you. You welcome yourself into it. It becomes home when you start living in it, not just existing in it. Hang something on the wall. Cook your first meal. Rearrange things until they feel you. Invite a friend over. Play your favorite music. The tiniest actions breathe life into the space. Think about it like a relationship. It doesn't become meaningful on day one. It grows, it deepens, it settles in. Your new home is waiting for you to show it who you are. And the moment you do, that's when it finally hits you. Okay, I'm home. All right, my friend, those are the big "I wish I knew" moments that nobody tells you about until you're knee-deep in bubble wrap, wondering how a grown adult can misplace a toothbrush for 3 straight days. Downsizing is emotional, messy, surprising, and honestly, kind of beautiful once the chaos settles. And if you want to make the whole process smoother, calmer, and a little less, "Where did I put my sanity?" don't forget to use the Senior Downsizing Planner. It helps you map where things will go, track what stays or goes, and take some of that stress off your shoulders. The link is waiting for you in the pinned comment below. If this video helped you, made you laugh, or at least made you feel less alone in the madness, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who's thinking about downsizing. Trust me, they'll thank you later.